Street Champs, come get put on. Today we got Colorado hip-hop legend Black Pegasus in the building.
What is going down, fellas? Let's get it. We here.
Let's go.
We here
what
now.
up, man?
Yes, sir.
Glad to have you on finally, dude.
Cool, man. It's awesome to be here.
Let's go.
Hell yeah, man. You were actually one of my podcasting inspirations, bro. I saw your podcast going off, and I was like, damn, this is more accessible than I thought.
Tight. That's dope. Yeah, man. It was funny because me and my partner, we wanted to do a podcast forever, and we just kept BSing. And then, the whole, I call it the pandemic, but to not trigger people, when the pandemic went off, it was just like, yo, it's just time to do this. And we sat in front of iPhone and started recording vocals and just said, hey, let's just put out our thoughts. And then we started cultivating it from there. Mm-hmm. So
how long have you been doing that for?
So right around the end, or no, April of 2020. So however long that is, it's July 2022 now. So over 2 years. So, yep.
Let's go, man. It goes by fast.
Yeah, and what's funny is like people don't understand the work you have to put in, because right now we're just starting to get like some real traction as a podcast. And you got to think my channel has me as an artist. We do street interviews and a podcast, but the podcast is actually just starting to get a little traction. I mean, we're going to be shooting up on 3 years before you know it. You know what I'm saying? So it definitely takes a lot of time. Anyone can talk in front of a mic, so really to put your content together and really just be consistent, it just takes time to build it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How many episodes you guys have done?
So we have a lot because we've done them in segments, but officially every Tuesday we do a live stream. We've been doing that for, I don't know, maybe 6 months, but we're at episode, I believe 118 would be this week, and that's just of the live stream. Now, the way me and my partner do it, so we do live streams every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So that's what we do there, but then normally I get to the office around 1 o'clock and we record segments. So we'll record like 5 to 6 segments so we can release something every day of the week, Monday through Friday. And so that's kind of the goal. So we do the live stream on Tuesday, but we release segments Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we'll try to do another live stream on Saturday when I don't have concerts. So, yep.
Your partner, as in like, what's your partner's name?
Me as a solo entity, I do a lot of solo stuff, but as a group, it's the 40-year-old FUQ boys. So that's our podcast.
You can say fuck here.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Sometimes I'll wait a little bit because the algorithm gets kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? When you start cursing a lot, like there's advantages to not cursing, but me and him curse a grip. So I always, and then when you're talking to people, they're like, "You have a podcast? What is it?" And you're on an airplane and you're like, "The 40-year-old fuck boys." They're like, "Oh, what?" You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah. So my partner, he goes by Don Wannabe in the podcast.
I like it, man. I like it.
You guys filming out of Springs?
So we started in Denver. We still have a studio in Denver. So typically when he's in town, I drive up on Tuesdays, record there, and then when we do our live streams on Saturday, he drives to Springs. So I have my own podcast studio in Colorado Springs at Mount Olympus, and then me and him partnered up, so me and him own half of the studio in Denver. And that's also because I have a lot of different people, like with artists coming through. If they're only in Denver, it's like, yo, come on down to the podcast in Denver, because not many people are going to drive south to do an interview. You know what I'm saying?
Especially down the 120 or the 125, the I-25, man.
Yeah.
God.
Yep.
Is it fucked up right now or what?
When isn't it having construction on it?
Yeah.
I mean, just the drive to Denver to Springs is just annoying in itself.
Yeah, you got to go to the superstars until you are the superstar. Like, oh, I got to go to the Joe Rogan podcast. You know what I mean?
How many views are you averaging per podcast episode?
That's a good question. I'd have to check the analytics, because typically I know that a podcast or a live stream is going to do 300 to 500 views no matter what. Like, it'll always do that. But we just have breakouts. Like right now I just did an interview / reaction with Stevie Stone. That's at about 120,000 views. And then a lot of our podcast, when you're dealing with hot topics, like we tackled the Joe Rogan N-word topic immediately, so that'll get like 3,000 views. We do the Andrew Tate stuff. That some of those have 14,000 views, because what you're building is a library. And this library, like, people go. So we did the one on Ray Epps. So after January 6th, we saw this footage of this dude Ray Epps who was instigating the whole Capitol insurrection.
Oh, man.
And he's on film saying, we gotta storm the Capitol. He's the only one who hasn't been arrested. So we did that, and now that the January 6th committee is coming up talking about it, ours pops up when people are like, yo, who's this Ray Epps guy? Ours is one of the first videos.
Let's
so it
go.
almost like, so it's like you're creating a library, and when things come around, you know, people go back and look at certain things.
It's keywords and algorithm.
Yeah.
And when they, like you said, when they type that in, boom, you're up there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's sweet. I like that.
Before we get into all the, because you kind of tackle some tough, controversial topics on your
Yeah,
on
yeah,
your
for
platform.
sure.
Before
Yeah.
we get into all that, I kind of want to hit like your story a little bit.
Sure.
How old are you?
42.
42.
Hence the
You don't look
40-year-old
42
FUQ
at all.
boys.
Yeah. So when you're 50, what are you gonna do?
Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
We'll tackle that when it happens.
It could be 50-year-old FUQ boys. We graduated to the 50s. Who knows? You know, we might have a different brand by then. I don't know. You know
I
what I'm saying?
think both of you guys look young enough. You keep the 40. Fuck
Yeah,
it.
yeah, hey,
Fuck
you know
it.
what I'm saying?
Keep the 40.
It's like, what is that place all the chicks go to? 21 Forever or something? Mm-hmm. Like,
Forever 21.
Forever 21. There
I
you
feel
go.
like
You
as
know what
the
I'm saying?
older you get, the more funny it gets too. Because
Yeah.
like, say you're 80 and you still have this
Yeah.
40-year-old fuckboys podcast. That's
Yeah, it's
hilarious.
like just what y'all just showed me, Gangsta Gale. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god!
The deader, the better.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't seen Gangsta Gale, go check that out. That chick.
YOLO.
YOLO.
So where are you from?
Okay. I represent Colorado, okay? But this is why. I was born on a I was born on a U.S. Air Force base in Germany because my dad was stationed in Landstuhl, Germany when I was born. So I was born on a U.S. base, which made me a U.S. citizen, but I was able to choose dual citizenship. But at the time, I was told I'd have to serve in the German military, so I didn't get a dual citizenship. But I was born in Germany, and then we came back to the States. My brother was born in Arizona. We lived in Florida. We lived in Albuquerque. Then we went back to Germany. But Colorado was the first place I called home. And my dad retired in Colorado when I was about 11 years old, so 1991. So that's why I claim Colorado, because it's my first home. We were just nomadic, traveling with the military my whole life. So,
Where are your parents at now?
my mother is in heaven, and my father lives in Widefield, where I grew up. Same grow-up house. You know what I'm saying?
Didn't leave.
Yep. So,
That's what's
yep.
up. I tell
They
my
were
parents
together
don't
for
leave.
31 or 34 years. They're
Oh,
OG
man.
traditional family. So
That's awesome.
Wow. All right. So you went to high school in Colorado then?
yes. So I went to so my dad worked at Irving Junior High when Irving, or was it junior high? Yeah, I think it was like a middle school or something. Irving, whatever. And they've changed that since now. But he worked at the special ed program. He worked with what I think they called our alternative students, that department.
What does that mean?
It's like the bad kids.
Oh, word.
You know, the kids have rough families, and or maybe they have like impediments, like speech impediment. You know, just typically it's the bad kids. You know what I'm saying? So he worked with them in that department, and we started going to school there. It's a regular middle school, but he worked in that department. But we went to that school because he worked there, and we just went with him to school there because he drove us, because we've lived in Widefield for that whole time. I'm telling that to kind of preface the story, because I actually went to Widefield and Mitchell, but I lived in Widefield. So what happened was I went to Irving because we homeschooled the grip. Like, my parents had us in like homeschool, like
Moving around a lot.
What's crazy is we
Yeah.
were in this church school that was worse than public school. You know what I'm saying? Because all the people who
shit.
got kicked out of public school went to that school. But you know, anyways, long story short, I went to for high school. I went to Mitchell, and that was because I went to Irving. But my dad stopped working at Irving, and so I had to start going into Widefield. But at Widefield, I started getting into a lot of trouble because all my friends were at Mitchell, and I was kind of acting out. You're going through your hormones, all that, like
New school.
you know what I'm saying? So
Dealing
I
with-
ended
What were
up
you doing?
going to Mitchell and graduating from Mitchell. Just wanted to lay out the story because it's kind of weird how it's like, yo, well, why'd you go to Widefield and Mitchell? Blah, blah, blah. That's kind
Laying
of
it out.
What were you doing to get in trouble? Like spray painting?
So
Spray
to be completely honest, I'm a ninja. So I grew up doing karate, like trying to do backflips off trees, shit like that. So I was in Universal Kenpo Karate. Okay, this is my love.
Nice.
I loved karate. I still love martial arts. I'm still in jujitsu. But my parents didn't make enough money, and they had to take us out of karate when I was 14. So I started I started watching MTV, and I just wasn't active as a child, right? So I'm going to a wide field at the time. I'm playing basketball. Basketball becomes my next passion, but I hate school. I still have this like phobia of my alarm clock. Like I hate alarm clocks. When I have to wake up for the airport, I can't even sleep because I get all this anxiety. Hated waking up early. I hated school, hated my teachers, blah, blah, blah. So make a very long story short, I didn't get good grades. And so I was able to play on the basketball team with my grades because I had like mostly D's. But my parents are like, this is unacceptable. You have D's. We're kicking you off the basketball team. I just went off the rails. I started skipping school, hanging out with the gangster disciples, doing gang shit, just, guns. Like, I used to take a gun to, I don't even know if I should say that, but I had a little 22, and I was, like, all worried about, at the time, so they're vice lords, but in our neighborhood, there were four-corner hustlers. And I was always, like, kind of worried, so I always had, like, this little 22 in my backpack. This is before Columbine. So it's just, like, that's just what I was doing. I just went directly to the kind of like street life, and that's just what it was. So,
What other sports did you play? Did you just play basketball?
Dude, I'm athletic. So I'm actually dumbass because I should have stuck with track. So I ran track. I played soccer. I wrestled. I played basketball, and I ran track.
Did everything.
And you were a GD.
Well, not until I didn't do any of that. That's what's interesting. You take kids out of athletics, and they're going to go down whatever path is there for them. And that was the path my friends were going on. Before the GDs, I started my own gang. That's what's crazy. WCGs, Wide Field Colorado Gangsters. So, we weren't tough. But this is the thing. I grew up in the era of gangster rap. So I was very influenced by what I saw. I wanted to be this. You know what I'm saying? Tupac, Mobb Deep. You know what I'm saying? Snoop Dogg. That's what I wanted to be. And everyone, back then, people wear like skinny jeans now. Well, everyone was wearing khakis. It was just the culture back then. Or dressed like East Coast, like Biggie. You know what I'm saying? So just what I saw. But anyways, I think I got off track. You asked
sports. What sports did you say? Track? You should have kept with track.
Yeah, so and I ran the 800, which is the half mile, long distance.
Shit, yep.
And I placed in state with my relay team. I forget what we placed. It wasn't but we placed like 8th in the whole damn state.
Yeah.
But I'm not tall. Like, it's always like lengthy, like white dudes and
long
Latin
legs.
Dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like
giant strides.
Who I was running against, and I was always like, I'm just not as tall as them. They're always like in their 6'3", but I just had heart. I always said I was like Seabiscuit because when I was running next to fools, I just had heart. And so I'd always win my races, and then they put me on the relay team, and together that's where I was running like a 2-minute half mile, which is pretty good. Like, I think I was close to getting to 1:59, but you got to remember, I'm a sophomore. I just started getting into the gang life. So I tricked off my whole junior and senior year to just skipping school, trying, just dumb shit. And I could have got a full ride scholarship for being where I was at as a sophomore. If I would have ran junior, and I could have full ride.
Would you say biggest regret then? From like maybe a back in the day regret then?
So I would, but then I wouldn't have became a rapper.
Exactly.
Because that's what brought me down this path, that street shit. Because that's what got me out of the streets, dude, I have so many street stories. Like, I've been shot at in Pueblo just for rolling with, like, homies that are all wearing red. Like, I mean, just...
Wait, so get into that a little bit. What do you mean?
I think it was called, like, the Beach Club or something out here. This is back in the day, but I used to roll with this crew called LF, La Familia.
You remember what year it was?
And this is after I was rolling with the GDs. So the GDs used to kick it with these cats. And so it was like this. So together, the GDs and maybe there were some Bloods. They called each other LF, and they just would unite and roll together. And so I remember we went to a club in Pueblo, and just some dumb shit. Someone got in a fight, and it rolled out into the parking lot, and then someone started shooting, and I'm with them about fighting with them and it was literally because one of the homies just was all wearing like too much red. And what's ironic about that, I liked blue, and I actually liked Crips because of Snoop Dogg, but all my homies were Bloods, so it was just like, bro, I was all over the place. But I was always like the chill cat because I was kind of like on some Playboy, pretty boy type shit, but I would just get down.
Hitting on the ladies?
Yeah, that's always I was always like, I guess they'd say a womanizer, but that's not really like, I'm not like a gorilla pimp. You know what I'm saying? But
so you're saying you're a lover. Were you swinging? at in that fight where you're getting shot at in Pueblo? Were you swinging?
Yeah, a little bit.
Hey, he's a lover and a fighter, y'all.
You should have had that same 22 from your.
Ooh, you should have had the deuce.
Back then, man, I shot at someone with the deuce actually in my cul-de-sac, but that's a whole nother story.
In Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Was that what you want to get into that a little bit? Like what was that about?
These cats were bullying me. No, so the ops as they call it today.
Dude, ran up.
So one time, you know, I'm sleeping in my basement at my parents' house, and I hear a and I run outside, and someone threw a brick through my Acura Integra's back window.
Oh,
and I was just
not the Integra,
bro. And back then, you don't have money like that, so it's like
$500
$500 for a win. Anyway, fast forward, it's a club night, and I'm out at the club late as hell. So I just come home, you know,
no back window.
But I'm in my house and I'm still awake, and so these people probably didn't think I was awake. And I look out my window and there's lights at the top of the cul-de-sac, and then the lights just go out. And then it's so weird because today I'd be a little more shook. I'd be more scared right now just because I'm like a dad and shit. But I'm in my boxers. I just grab my gun. I'm like, and just run outside in my boxers. And these dudes, they turn off the lights, and then I hear, and the moment I heard, I just swung open the gate and was like, bop, 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 and just started shooting up their Cadillac. But again, it's just a 22. And they were like this. They were like, and they're like, and just took off. And that was a really unique situation. So, yeah.
Damn, you think you caught a body in that?
I didn't catch a body. I actually ran into one of the dudes on Grinnell like a month later. And it was just funny. I always call this my magic trick. So he gets out of the car, right? So he pulls up on me acting all hard, right? And he was like, what's up now, fool? What's up now, fool? And I'm like, what's up? And I'm next to my car. And he walks up to me, and I'm like, dun, 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 go, Matt, gadget. And I grab a bat, and I'm just like, BAH! And I hit him in his wrist. He was like, oh! It was like a little kid getting a spanking, you know? And that's it. I just let it, because I've always been chill. I'm not like,
quick.
Oh, let me beat him down to pulp. Like, I was just like,
you know when to stop.
You know? Yeah. And so, like, he ran up. I pulled out the bat. And I was like, if you still going to come? And he just came.
He came at.
Bink! Right in his.
How long ago was that?
I mean, dude, I'm a teenager.
Oh, I thought this was like recent. Oh,
no, hell no. This is all like high school type stuff.
I know. He's always
dude,
gonna
I
be
am
like,
not
you just got
in
done.
no shit, bro. I chill, bro. Like, I'm trying to go
This
on.
man's got the Frenchie.
What if you keep that? What if you run into that guy now? You keeping the same energy?
Bro, I don't even know what he looks like. I hope I could mend the situation. I would try to talk. I would definitely. I'm out here laughing, but in hindsight, like, it's kind of wild, you know.
It's a wild story.
And we were doing stupid shit, and it's actually not funny. Like, this could trigger him to be like, what? This mother, I'm gonna get him. You know, like, I don't mean it like that. I'm just saying that's how it went down back then.
I mean,
it is what it is. If he hit me up, I would honestly apologize. I'd be like, I was mad and immature. And what's funny though is they were chasing me though. I didn't roll up on him. He was chasing me. I remember it was like a red Nissan, and I was like, oh shit. And then I was just like,
damn, he's running from the Ultima.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Fuck.
So I was just like, but these fools broke my windows and whatever.
Jesus.
So it is what it is. It's
Yeah.
just back in the day, stupid stuff.
Gang shit.
So,
Right?
when you were doing all that, did you start like smoking weed or like doing any other?
You know
drugs
what?
Or anything?
I was literally what do they call that? Straight edge.
Straight edge.
I was straight edge. I still haven't even been drunk in my life ever.
Not once?
Nope. I got buzzed in Tijuana.
That's a lie.
I ran away from home at 18 and went to Tijuana with these chicks, and I got buzzed, and that was it in my whole life.
Buzzed? Okay, well, off what? Would you drink?
I don't even know. They just had like this. So this is what happened. We were driving, and I don't know if they tried to trick me. But there was like a cop behind us. They're like, oh my god, we have an open bottle because we're all like 18. They're like,
so you need to
like,
drink
slam this, and it was just like a little bit of like champagne or wine or something. And I just slammed it. Then we got to Tijuana, and I just remember breakdancing, and I'm like, dude, I'm not even breakdance. Like, I don't know how to breakdance.
You're on a cardboard box.
So that's how I knew I was buzzing, you know, because I was like I was like, oh yeah, it's just I probably look like.
Now you say buzzing, is that drunk though?
I have no clue.
The cops would say
that's the only time I felt that way before. So you know what I mean. So
they do say buzz driving is drunk driving. So I mean,
I wasn't driving though. Like I was
no driving. Just saying like they say like if you're buzzed, you're drunk. I don't know.
Buzzed,
so yeah, I mean, I definitely was not normal. You know what I'm saying? So, but when I think about all my homies being drunk versus buzzed, like the difference in my opinion between drunk and buzz is like, yo, drunk, you fucking a woolly mammoth. buzzed, you having a good time, and you could recognize what's going on. Do you see what I'm saying?
Fucking woolly man.
I'm just saying, like, dudes will
Truth.
go off on some other stuff. They're just like, don't see any coherence. They're fighting dudes. They're talking to chicks they wouldn't talk to. They don't even debate going in raw. It's just like, baby, this feels so good. Like, it's like, bruh.
That's this fool.
Where's the gym?
I'm just kidding.
So yeah, that's all I'm saying. But yeah, so a sober soldier, straight edge. I actually started smoking weed. My mom had cancer; it was terminal. She was avid, like she was super like hardcore Christian. She didn't want me to get any tattoos, no earrings, no drugs, no this, no that. And so I kind of it was kind of instilled in me just from growing up. But when she had cancer, I actually brought her to weed was just getting legal, and I was like, yo man, like let's see if
try
this
it out,
you know. And we went to a weed doctor. He gave her the red card, and he was just like, yo, to keep it real with you, dealing with cancer, these opiates that you're on will actually mess with your internal organs and your digestive system. And he was like, if you smoke weed and just take a little bit of ibuprofen, it'll ease off the pain, but the THC will make you feel creative. And I remember that she started hitting on the bong. You know what I mean? The woman who said, this is from the devil, devil's lettuce. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know, she's
puffing.
just in the kitchen cooking, like kind of just, you know,
awesome.
happy and shit. So like ever since then, I was like, it took my edge off this concept that was being pushed by, you know, mainstream that, oh, you know, weed is the gateway to all these evil things. And me having a very disciplined personality, when I started smoking, I never just became a pothead and was just lazy as hell. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just something that I would do a little socially with rappers, because, you know, sometimes they like to have like that celebration moment on the tour bus. I'm like, okay, I'll hit this, you know, but for the most part, I only smoke to just like sleep. Just I try to do things that benefit me, my health. Typically, that's just what kind of person I am.
For sure. And if all that being said, Wiz passes the man the blunt. He's gonna hit the blunt.
Yeah.
I don't think Wiz.
I remember I
hits blunts
smoked
anymore,
with Stevie Stone and frickin' and One Ton from Potluck in the studio. And I was like, man, these dudes, I was like, give me that. And I just kept hitting in the circle. And, bro, I was just on the couch, like, in Mount Olympus while they were recording, just in a blanket. Sleeping.
Really?
Yeah, I just was out, bro.
How long did you sleep for?
Probably like an hour.
An hour?
And then they're like, yo, let's go to the taco spot. And I'm all driving, all paranoid, like all slow. Like, yo, bro. Like, I was like, I'm never smoking this much again. And it was literally just to be like, man, I can hang with y'all. And I was like, no, you can't. Bro, no more. So you're good. You learned your lessons. Yeah.
That's all. Do you remember what strain that was or what that was?
I have no clue. And then
Just
I don't really pay attention
He was
to
falling
details.
asleep.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, he was on the couch, so I guess. Yep.
What were we seeing?
No, keep going.
All right, so just to get back on like the fucking whole timeline of your life and shit.
My bad, dude.
No, I love doing that. I love like kind of pulling away from it a little bit.
He loves it. I do. I'm just kidding. But so getting back into whatever. At what age did you start making music?
So right after high school. So I was dabbling with freestyling with my homeboy John and what is my other homie's name? Jeez.
Damn, it's a bad homie.
Dude, no, Jack. So Jack and
Sparrow.
John.
Jack and John.
What's funny is they're both black, but that didn't sound black at all. But anyways, so I'm freestyling with them after our class. And that's when I actually smoked. Actually, you know what? I have to go back. I smoked weed then. I smoked with them, but it was dirt weed. Yeah, and it was just like I was kind of faking it. I was trying to be cool, so I wasn't really inhaling. We'd go behind.
He's all hitting it like Elon
Best
Musk.
Buy on Academy. And we'd smoke, and then we'd go back to class and write rhymes and set them back and forth. And that was my first experience writing. And make a long story short, my partner Don Wannabe from the podcast, I met him telemarketing at Future Call when I was 18. And I was writing some rhymes down, and he looked at them, and he knew I was writing rhymes because he would write. He tried to get me to tell blah, blah, blah. He starts getting me into freestyling. And then I went to a party, and he like forced me to get on the mic. I spit my first freestyle, and that's just was my intro to it. And after that, we got with the DJ. We freestyled a lot, but then we did a first demo over a cassette tape at our DJ's house.
What year was this? You remember?
That's going to be like 1998.
Nice.
Close to 1999. So we recorded over a cassette. Then we met Bass Jace with Illinois Studios in Springs and started recording for real in 1999.
Started actually getting it.
And we put out a CD at the end of 99 and then another album that kind of put us on the map as FOS. I was in a rap group called Focus on Skills, Fusion of Syllables, and we released that record in 2000. And Yeah, we got a lot of notoriety putting that out.
That's what's up, man.
Describe
go ahead.
Describe a lot of notoriety. Like what does that look like and feel like to you?
So we were buzzing in Springs. So we were buzzing in Denver, Boulder, and Springs a little bit, but in Springs, our first concert was at the Underground, and it was like 350 people. Then we headlined this place called 32 Blue, which you guys might know as the Thirsty Parrot. That used to be 32 Blue. And we headlined that, and we sold it out like over 500 people. And because we sold it out, we actually tracked on Polestar because they reported it to Polestar. And then because of that...
What's Polestar?
So it's kind of like a SoundScan. Like, so back in the day when you sell albums, is SoundScan, and that's what tracks if you go platinum. Polestar tracks what you would call tour history. So as a promoter, a lot of times if you can pull Polestar numbers and see someone's tour history, you can make a better offer. Like, oh, they sold this many tickets in this market, cool, at this price, they're worth this much. You
And
know
who
what I'm
puts that into that?
Typically the venues will report
report
Polestar, but it just depends. Like, there's a lot of just
that's cool.
basic venues they don't, but normally corporate venues report to Polestar.
Wow, okay.
So then we went to South by Southwest in 2001, and we got onto a showcase, and we got in front of a couple people, and these people put our music on MTV Road Rules and Real World, and we were collecting royalties from that. And then we got on NBA Jams Part 2, so we have some music on that from back in the day. And so those were just things that started to bubble for us. But unfortunately, my partner in crime kind of went down like a drinking path, and then ended up getting locked up for a little bit, and that kind of birthed my solo career.
Partner in crime went down a path of crime.
That too.
Oh, sure.
So that's not a wannabe Don Wannabe?
Yeah, that's him.
Oh,
yep.
that is him.
Yep.
Oh, so he's recovered now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he wasn't like an alcoholic, like, yo, I'm in the streets, but he just started wilding out, and I forget the whole story, what happened. All I know is he ended up in jail, and I was going to Boulder to do a concert as a group by myself. And I had to get all my solo shit together. And this isn't in the time of technology. There's no fucking social media. So figuring out how to perform a solo set, there's not jumping on my computer editing. I mean, CDs are still a legit new technology. You know, this is literally like...
You can't just run up in the stew and get some new...
Yeah. So it's like 2000s.
Oh, man.
So, you know, I think at that time I had one solo track, and I just had to... I don't even remember how I pulled it off. I probably freestyled over instrumentals. Like, who knows?
He's white, right?
Yeah. Well, he's mixed. He's white and Latino, but he just looks white. If you look at him, you're like, oh, he's literally half and half for the most part.
What's your ethnicity?
I'm black, Mexican, and then a little bit of mixture of other stuff from my Latin side. Mm-hmm. So my mom, well, and I haven't done the 23andMe, so it might be different, but my mom was always like, obvious we're Mexican, right? But she's always said we have a little Irish, French, and Native in our blood. That's what she would always tell me. So I probably should do the 23andMe, but you know, you ain't getting my DNA. You ain't getting this DNA. No,
even if it's just spit.
They already have my DNA.
They have
I had
it.
to take the Rona test. It is what it is. They got me.
They got you.
They got your
Which
boy.
one? Which one did you have to get?
Oh no, I'm just saying I had to take all the Rona tests. We were traveling and stuff. So
the one all in the nose and shit.
I actually didn't have to do a deep one. It was
those
just
ones
like,
hurt, bro.
You just go like this. But I remember at the beginning they were like,
bro, that shit was crazy.
I never had to do that shit.
That shit hurt.
Yeah.
It would make your eyes tears all crazy. But yeah, fun times.
I know you got
Good
some
tests.
outlandish takes on that, but I don't want to. The people that want to know that, you gotta
wait.
Yeah, for sure. It's all good.
Back into the music though.
Yeah.
How many shows do you think you've done over this career of yours? Not that you've put on, but that you've performed. And then we'll get into the ones that you've, you know.
It's weird because I did my first show. It was a talent show, I believe, in 1998. And we were in 2022, and I just did a show 3 weeks ago.
A talent show? No, I'm just kidding.
Right. I honestly, hundreds for sure, maybe close to the thousand. Let's not say thousands. That's probably overkill.
Right.
Hundreds because you got to think I've toured all of Europe with Afro. I've toured Canada with Liquid Assassin. All Flows Reach Out. He's R.A. the Rugged Man's protege. And then I've toured America. I've toured America in its entirety 5 times. but I've toured all over America for my whole career. And then that's not like before I kind of was able to go tour like that. I toured Colorado. Just like I literally would do like Colorado Springs, Denver, Boulder, Fort Collins, Breckenridge, Aspen, Durango, Grand Junction, you know, and I was able to make a living off of those pockets until I figured out how to tour nationally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, all right, I want to talk about that touring.
hundreds.
So
That's
that
nice.
sounds really interesting. Were you single when you were touring?
Kind of. I acted single.
Ooh.
Oh man.
You know what I'm saying? Like for a part of it, I was single. But for a big part of it, I wasn't. But you know, it is what it is.
Ladies' man, you know, you were a ladies' man growing
He
up.
said he was a lover. Okay.
The price we pay for the games we play.
But you're a married man now, right?
Yeah, I'm married.
How long have you been married?
7 years, about to be 8.
So, all right. So touring single versus touring in a relationship.
Okay, so touring single. I mean, the thing is, as a young man, because everything changes as you get a little bit older. But touring as a young man, you're chasing the women. And so I remember I went on a tour with one of the homies. Who was it? DJ Abilities. And I mean, the whole game plan. The whole game plan was just like every night find a chick so we can stay at her crib. Now it didn't matter if you had Zags or not. It was just, yo, can we stay at your crib so we could save on a hotel and stack the bread?
That's
you know what I'm
fire.
saying? So like, I mean, just off rip, you're couch surfing at chicks' houses most of the time. Now, if a dude, if you could stay at the homie's crib too, like that works too to save money. But essentially, that was the game. Like, get on stage, show your celebrity, right? And that it kind of puts you in a different realm than the other guys at the venue, and that's how you're able to meet the chicks. And you know, hey, do you have your own place? Oh, what a coincidence! I'm in town tonight. You know what I'm saying?
What's the craziest place you had to stay at in that type of situation, like a chick's house? Did you have any cool stories?
So actually, all the chicks' houses were pretty nice when you got to stay at them. So that wasn't ever crazy. The real crazy was one time I stayed with one of my homies. I go in his house. He's like, "Yeah, you can stay with us." And he's like, "You'll be staying down here." And I go in the basement. It's like a dungeon, bro.
like a crypt.
Like I was like, "Yo, I was in
Can I sleep on the floor up
I
here?
was sleeping in the sleeping bag." This is what got me to sleep. I was like, okay, if I was in Vietnam, it would be way worse. Like, there'd be rain.
Oh, my
there'd be
God.
snakes. Because I was like, yo, there might be a mouse. There might be a spider. So I just had to put myself in Vietnam. I was like, okay, you've seen these movies. There's poisonous snakes, frog. There's this. There's the Viet Cong. It's raining. You can make it. And then I just
Viet
fell
Cong.
asleep. I
Yo,
was like,
if
bro.
the homies have to think about war
Viet
to
Cong.
go to sleep in that place that you set them,
I was just
give
like,
them another
because I was
spot.
like, yo, how am I gonna bitch up and like, you know what I'm saying?
he offered you the
yo,
spot.
it's-
Yeah.
It was just weird, bro. It was like just concrete slab. It was an unfinished basement, just spider webs everywhere.
This
I
dude
was
moves over a Ouija board to sleep
I
on a
was
sleeping bag. Oh my god,
like, I was like,
bro.
God of mercy.
I'm
bro.
out.
Here we go. I'm still here.
Damn, that is a good one. I dig that.
So you've been to like Alaska and Hawaii touring?
I haven't been to Hawaii touring. I've been to Hawaii on vacation. I have not been to Alaska. So when I say all of America, you got me on that one because I definitely have not been to those spots.
And then-
I actually I've been to Hawaii later in life. So I haven't been to Hawaii to perform or Alaska. So yeah.
Damn.
Worst town to perform in
Ooh,
that you've hit?
Omaha.
Maybe in your experience, because everybody has their different experiences, of course.
Oh, I'll tell you. So this is kind of effed up what I'm about to say because when you say worst, people are going to take it a certain way. So let me kind of preface it, I guess. First and foremost, wherever someone comes to support you, it's dope. If you
Yeah.
came to support my show, this is freaking awesome. So I'm not going to say this is the worst. I'm going to say this is the scariest.
Oh shit.
So
Okay.
I was on tour with
kinda-
Potluck and Recognize, and we played Harpo's, which is a old school. It's like an '80s rock band venue, like world renowned, known, but it's all beat down. It's in Detroit, and
Okay.
like literally, like they were like, "Hey, when you get off the tour bus, go in, get back on the tour bus." And when we were driving through the town, I was like, "There's like abandoned buildings." It definitely was just like some like, "Yo, there might be a body in that building." So I'm not dissing Detroit. I'm just saying that part of town where Harpo's was,
hard part of town.
from my recollection, it was just one of those places, you know, like when you go in the chicken shop, there's just like the thick, you know, bulletproof glass everywhere. It's just like, I'm just like, oh, this was, so it's not necessarily the worst place I performed, but it was the place that was the most intimidating when it came to the surrounding environment.
Were you nervous on stage?
No, because there wasn't anything to be. Honestly, though, yeah, because the place seemed haunted. Like the stage was like as big as your house, and I'm just looking down. Like it's like me performing on the roof of your house, and you being in the grass. Like it's like if I fall off the stage, I will die type shit. Like it was, it was just interesting. That's what I remember from my brain. If any of you watching this and never been to Harpo's in Detroit, let me know if I'm tripping. But yeah,
Okay, that was good. So I'm glad I asked that.
It was the most intimidating spot I had been to. I remember going to Chicago. And it was just where we played was super dope, but people were like, yo, don't go past this place. And back then I didn't realize why, you know, because that was like in 06. So I don't know what was going on back then, but I just wasn't, you know, I didn't follow, you know.
It's not like you knew like you would know now. And now you know because the phones.
Yeah, exactly. Back then we toured. That's the funny thing. We toured. We had to, so at the hotels or the girls' cribs, you try to get on the internet and print up the map quest.
I was just about to
because we used to have to tour with a map and figure out where we were going.
My homie was map questing to the venues.
So, you know, then MapQuest came out and I was like, yes, you know. So if they didn't have internet, it was like, it's crazy. Because when I toured in Germany, I'm like, you just put on GPS. But then I remember the towers went down in this one spot for like 20 minutes. And I was like, I was freaking out because I don't speak the language. I don't know how to read a map in German. And I'm just at the gas station like, please come back on or this is a wrap. Like I needed to go pick up like Afro from like the hotel or airport. They're just waiting. The phone signal's down, so I can't call them. I can't figure out where I'm going. I'm just like, bruh. So technology has changed everything. Like it's wild. So you don't even have to use Google Translate. So
I heard
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
I forget what. I forget what his name is. Mikey, that big champion of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Mikey.
Musasasi or something.
He said he learned Portuguese using just Google Translate completely.
Yeah, I saw
that. He just went and bro.
That kid's tripping. He's wild. Talking about eating pizza and pasta. That's his diet.
That is another crazy thing. He only eats pizza and pasta. That's it every day.
And he's all ripped.
And
that's because he fasts.
Champion.
Fasting you can keep that, but I don't know if that's good for your digestion. I don't know enough about that, but I'm into like that stuff pretty. Anyway,
you're fasting right now, right?
Yeah, just because I don't always do it, but when I get super busy, I just kind of forget to eat. But today I didn't go to the gym, so I can fast longer without implications. But if I'm going to the gym, I need some type of carbs or calories to burn.
Any exertion.
So, Yep.
What's your religion?
I mean, I grew up Christian. I'm not like devout Christian. I'm in this weird place because I believe in the values of religion. I do believe in the values of religion, but I do believe like I'm not. It's crazy because I don't talk about this that much online because it's such a crazy convo. But I know, like we all know, that Jesus wasn't like blonde-haired, blue-eyed. So that information right there, you kind of like, okay, well, what was religion put here for, in a sense? So I believe in God, I believe in a higher power, and I believe in the morals of what religion brings as like let's say a formula for life, like the golden rule, different stuff like that. However, there's a part of me that does understand that religion can divide people as well. And now there's a nuanced conversation because division isn't always bad, in my opinion, because sometimes you have to separate certain things to know where you stand. But at the same time, it is kind of tricky because when you're in a multicultural place like America, and then you understand, let's say, either history or regions of places, and even just, you know, like the fact that whenever you go to a Catholic church, there's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed picture of Jesus, but then we know he was probably more brown-skinned, you know.
I don't think it's blonde. I think it's kind of like brown hair.
That's what I'm saying. But the thing is, it's like, you have Jewish people who just look like white folks. So I don't know what he was or what he is. But what I do know is people want their God to look like them. And so understanding that, I would like to break down, because a lot of religious beliefs have so many similarities, we get caught up on the technicalities. And I believe if we could lose the technicalities, we could come together as people on the moral principles that are installed in religion. So that's just kind of my take.
I dig that. what do you think about like all these mega churches and stuff? Like
I mean,
Joel
they're hustlers.
Osteen's.
A lot of them
Right?
are hustlers.
I was about
Like
to
if
say,
they're
yeah,
hustling
it's like-
religion, spirituality. This is how I look at it. I don't think it's bad though. I don't think it's bad because they're also people come there to rejoice. See, there's some authentic people who are coming there want to help you. But sometimes inadvertently you go to a church and you find help just because they're good people. Like there's
good people around you.
The energy. Have you ever went to a church? They're all singing and did it.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, I never went to a church and had bad energy. Like F this
Yeah,
dude. Like
ever.
you always
Ever.
come back feeling good. And I think, well, hey, I'm cool with that. Like I'm cool with that. And I think that's great. I think there's a lot of hustlers, a lot of people who take it. Like you guys seen that we did this week on our podcast. There was a pastor in I think Brooklyn or the Bronx who got robbed for $1 million worth of jewelry. I'm like, with all of God's work that needs to be done, you got $1 million on your check.
Right?
You see what I'm saying? I'm like, cool.
milli stack
Have a nice
chilling.
ring, maybe have a rollie, but come on, bro. Like, there's so many like homeless in New York. I'm like,
So many.
You know what I'm saying? It is what
That's
it
so
is.
true.
There's a lot of hustling going on in that vein. But if you're making people feel good and you're getting compensated for it, I'm not mad. That's what I do. I'm an entertainer. I make people feel good I make people feel a feeling and I get paid for it.
Boom.
So
Simple.
it is what it is.
Simple. It's a business at the end of the day, you know?
So,
Shit.
and I don't think every pastor's out to hustle people. I think there's a lot of good
course.
intent out there. But when you live in a town like I live in, Colorado Springs, and it's full of churches, but like when you look at just little things, like they do a lot of good outreach, a lot of things. But, you know, it is interesting. I always said this, like people always talk about like the homeless population. And I'm like, you know, when you have a structure like a church, which is tax exempt, you know, as I just think every church should have like a little building that helps house like, you know, poor or like certain types of people in society that need the help and help build them up because you have the infrastructure to do that. And I think if you're generating a profit, I think every church should literally have a little dorm and they take in, you know, whatever, kids, homeless,
That's a good
whatever.
idea.
That's just
I
what
like
I think.
that.
I'm like, if you're tax exempt, give back to the community.
I mean, realistically, churches have bad histories with kids, but
No, right when I said it, I was like, Catholic Church.
Yeah, maybe not the Catholic one.
I get it. It's true. It's true. But this is the thing.
That's a weird.
We have issues with kids all over because what I'm starting to realize is predators seek work where there's children because it's the easiest way to prey. Because see, predators in nature, when you just go look, they ain't like the biggest lion ain't going to go try to attack the strongest gazelle. He'll get kicked in his fucking mouth.
Yep.
He's going for the weak, the children, and the old.
The one that's limping.
And so these people, they're called predators for a reason because they're preying on the weak. And so it's just like nature. So it's like we're never going to get rid of all the evil, but you get a few strong men and strong women that are there to take care of children, and they really like are on some like Mother Teresa type, you know, soul.
Really want to help
you can sift out the bad people. There's always going to be bad people in everything we do, in everything. It's just the balance of life, good, evil. It's just going to exist. So.
I still like that idea, though. That, like, seriously.
I'm just
if
saying,
you are
and
tax exempt,
churches
give back.
I'm saying churches give back.
They do.
I'm not trying to hold this against every church,
Yeah.
but don't like tell me there's all this stuff when I'm like, yo, man, you guys are making millions. I mean, these shows, like I went to a New Year's Eve show or a Christmas show, and I'm like, yo, this is an old production.
insane.
Like, this is a concert, bro. Like,
a
I'm
show
not throwing
or-
concerts.
a show
like
or a
this.
service.
It's a service, but it's a show. Like, it's a show.
They be making money,
They up there
too.
playing guitar, singing. I'm like, this is amazing. Like, I feel
Killing
great.
it.
But this is a concert, you know?
Yeah.
The one thing that drives me away from like the televangelists and stuff is like the Joel Osteen like situation where like he wouldn't let people in his church when there was, I forgot what catastrophe it was. But like shit like that, like,
Yeah.
bro, like you're making millions of dollars. Like, why couldn't you just like help out, open that church up,
I
and
think,
get
isn't
them
that
in?
he in Texas?
Hurricane
It was like
Harvey.
maybe it was,
Was
like
it a
the
hurricane?
deep
I
freeze or
forgot
the
what it was.
hurricane. People do weird stuff all the time.
Yeah,
and
that shit was weird to me.
it is what it is. Like, you know, the thing is too, like, you have to have the right infrastructure set up as a business person. Let's say you have this huge church, people need help, but then it's just like, you know, when you're I mean, I feel you. You got to, it is, when you have that much money, it's like, look, if people come in and wreck the church, rebuild it, you know? So
You're right.
I don't know the technical details behind it.
Yeah, there's
like,
probably more details I don't know or something. Who knows?
Yeah. All right. Let's
Crazy.
just get right into the bullshit now.
All right, now we going.
Because
cool.
I feel
all
like
right, I like
feel
it.
like you have a lot of controversial things that you put on your platform,
Uh-huh.
and I bet a lot of people watching it, like, they don't have the opportunity to ask you, Like,
yeah, they don't.
You know, like to
Yeah,
kind
to get
of
an in-depth look of how I think of it for real.
Yeah, so you know, I'm gonna ask the questions that everyone wants to know right off the bat.
Now, before we get into this, I'm going to tell you this for your benefit.
Yeah.
Certain things I might answer a certain way so you don't get kicked off YouTube, because you will get kicked off YouTube for my views.
Oh,
so
really?
I have to speak in code with certain stuff. If we're talking about certain politics, if you talk about vaccinations, if you bring those type of questions up, I will have to speak differently, or this will get flagged, and you could potentially get a misinformation strike. So I'm just letting you know.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And has that happened before we do
I
that?
have strikes. I have strikes on my YouTube. I almost got demonetized.
Wow.
Yep.
Damn. What the fuck?
Damn. All right.
crazy.
So is COVID?
Go ahead.
Is COVID real? You said pandemic.
Yeah. COVID's real. But the
real.
way they handled it, it's a pandemic. Damn, I forgot. I almost forgot. I have to. If you guys get on the internet, go look up on YouTube Event 201. This came out about a month before COVID struck and this lockdowns, and they literally went through all of this in a simulation. So when I say a pandemic, I'm not a COVID denier. People get on me like they get on. You got to remember, there's people who hate me because of my stance because they don't understand it. But what I'm trying to convey and wake people up to is the reality that politicians and the elite class of people are utilizing disasters to gain control and power over the human being. So, and take our sovereignty and civil liberties. That's the plan. That's the pandemic. COVID is real. And the reason there's going to be people who get man, Black P, you let me down. I'm telling you, they didn't, they didn't separate this when they're testing. Look, COVID, I don't even have the direct explanation for this, but I'm going to tell you this. You get flu-like symptoms, but it's the only flu that I've ever gotten where I lost my taste buds and my sense of smell. COVID is something, it's real, and it's doing real things to real people. Now, do I think we've overreached in the way we've handled COVID? Yes. The fact that we're on a planet where every person needs to be tracked and traced because of a sickness is too far for me.
Crazy.
But it's still real. COVID is real. And whenever I say pandemic, it's in that the way they handled this has been planned out for a long time. They've been looking at swine flu. Swine flu but they couldn't get us scared enough to tap dance to what they're doing now. And if people don't wake up now, you're going to lose all of your sovereignty and individual liberties. And see, people in America don't realize it because people in other countries don't have what we have. I'm going to tell you a quick story. Yeah. I went to Panama, to get my daughter stem cells for her arthritis. And when I was out there, I had a tour guide, Oscar and Julie. And I seen they're not really wearing their masks. So I'm like, yo, what's up? This is what I'm on. And they're like, okay, we can talk to him. This is what happened in Panama. Now, Panama is one of they're economically better than most Latin American countries. But this is what happened during their shutdown. And see, they don't talk about this in the news. And they told me this directly. They're like, when they shut down everything. And in most part, they even shut down grocery stores.
Oh, my God.
And they didn't get paid. So a small sect of the people in certain industries got paid like we did, stimulus. The government dropped off baskets of rice and beans. So now when you see these type of implementation of what I would call radical authoritarian actions over a sickness, you have to see the implications. Right now in America, when I spoke out, everyone wanted to crucify me. You're wrong. This is, you're killing grandma. Well, we're in a first world country. Guess what? I'm not going to starve. I'm just going to have to pay $80 for a steak, but I'm not going to starve. But in Panama, they're going to starve. In Africa, they're going to starve. In India, they're going to starve where there's so many people. And you'll have these social justice woke people talking about, oh, poor people and eat the rich and da-da-da. But when the pandemic happened, they did not. No one wanted to look at the domino effect of shutting down economies. And now we're able to look and be like, hey, we're shutting down the economy. In hindsight, is it worse than what, the disease? And that's a question people need to have a real conversation. How many people died of depression from ODing? How many people died because they didn't get to go their cancer treatments and see where they were in the hospital? How many people with starvation across the country? So people need to wake up and see these things. And that's why I have these conversations and post polarizing things to get this conversation open, because what I'm realizing is the young generation is a little disconnected from this, because the mainstream media is very good at indoctrinating us through social media and our television platforms. So
Damn, you got a good speaking voice, bro. You're a great storyteller, because like your voice
kills it on the mic, man.
Yeah.
You're doing it well. I dig it.
I'm not storyteller, but like you have a great.
Well, this is the thing too. Like we
Delivery.
all do podcasting, and I'm 2 years in, so now I'm just like I know how to have a conversation, and I'm already an animated person, and I'm an artist. So there's something that turns on me. The camera's on, I turn on. You know what I'm saying?
You
That's
did,
just
bro.
what I
You
do.
walked in here, boom,
Like, you know
camera
what
went
I'm saying?
on, you turned. Yes, I like it.
All right, so
Back into it, though.
yes, yeah. So yeah, it's inspiring, bro. To be honest, but anyway, back into the pandemic shit. So, you say it so eloquently that I'm like, wow, this guy is so put together in his argument that I cannot put holes in it, and I truly can't at this point. So like, I kind of agree with you, but like, yeah, Ricky, what do you think?
I knew you were gonna throw it to me. I was waiting
Ricky's
for him to
dad,
throw
like,
it.
got really sick from it.
No, like, and that's like a whole separate thing. Like, I seriously agree with you too. I think like I didn't know anything about the whole like the simulation thing, the event. What was it? Event
201.
201. I didn't know anything about that, but like just the way it was handled was very.
Well, and this is the other
was
thing.
bad.
They
Not-
hide these things, but they're in plain sight. So, like, all this stuff is on YouTube, and it's still not down. You can go watch the whole simulation, and you go look at the date, and you're like, dude, we lived
But they
this.
put it on
This
YouTube.
is-
It's on YouTube. Event 201. Pitbull. You remember the rapper Pitbull? He was going viral. That's what he's talking about.
Mr. 305.
And, yeah, he was like, yo, you guys, like, it's right here for us to see.
Whoa,
And so
okay.
all this
I'm gonna have
stuff
to
is
look
in
into that.
plain sight. Like, it's in plain sight, but they're trying to eliminate it. This is why the fact checkers exist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they're like, yo, they put it out and they're like, oh, these people are actually following up on this. But what I would say too is because COVID is serious. So this is interesting, right? I went down many veins of this because at first I didn't deny it, but I didn't think it was as severe as it was. And let me tell you why, in my opinion, why it is so severe. Because we're in a very unhealthy society. So it's going to affect everyone differently. It is going to hurt healthy people, but every disease hurts healthy people at some point. There's outliers and everything. But the radical change that isn't happening and that they're pushing therapeutics, medicines, and there's no conversation about our health and what the average American, the obesity, and then when you start seeing the correlations to that and people passing away from it or having severe cases, these are conversations that just aren't had. So what I would like to say is when people think I'm a COVID denier, I'm not a COVID denier. And to dodge getting kicked off here, I won't get that deep. This is a very simple way to just put it for me. I believe that with the mandates, the reason this is all happening is because of when you see people going against me or me seeming that it's because of mandates. And I believe anything that has a potential risk, that you should have a choice. So that's all I'm saying. And the way they sold us this is that this one thing was going to stop a spread. Well, the one thing didn't stop the spread. So can we have a conversation about when you're being so radical with mandates? And these mandates have changed the world. I can't even travel the world anymore because of this idea. And everyone who ran with the mandates still have to get the same tests that I get. So that's all I'm saying. It's very simple, clean cut, and some people aren't even going to agree with that. But I think more people could agree with that than disagree. So instead of me being like, well, this and having all these points, because the other thing is I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, so everything I'm going off is things that I've researched or seen. But you're always going to find someone who's going to be smarter than me. Like, I'm not that smart, you guys. Like, come on now.
You seem pretty smart, bro. I don't know.
I'm a D student. You know what I'm saying? But I put things together from life experience. That's how I gained most of my wisdom. So, when we talk about these things, I just keep it simple. I'm like, anything with this much risk should have choice. That is my stance because I believe this. If you really dive down the numbers, some people are going to get on me for this, but if you really dive down the numbers, if we want to talk about the vaccine, it has provided protection for some people. Some people have side effects, but it has provided protection. So if you're in a category where you're super obese, you have comorbidities, I'm like, dude, I'm just saying, like, bro, then I mean, this paper is showing this thing will provide you protection. I'm not knocking you for getting it. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to go too deep down that because I don't want to get you guys in trouble here. And sometimes these things can even get throttled online with how many people view it because of this is a conversation they just don't allow. There's no. Have you guys noticed that? Have you guys noticed that?
I have noticed that.
Only on Joe Rogan can he, and it's because it's Spotify, can he bring up someone who's pro this and anti this and have the conversation. And that's why I'm so vocal about my stances, because it's not about me being right. It's about us having the conversation on public platforms in the public square and people being able to see both sides fully and making their own opinion. But we don't have that right now. We only have, this. You know, you might see a glimpse of my stuff, but bro, like I have had to wheel it back because like I got this is, dude, on Facebook, I posted something from Forbes and I made a comment on it and I got restricted on Facebook, and I run my whole business through Facebook ads to sell tickets for concerts. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what the F? And I was like, yo, and people are like, yeah, so we told you. And then I appealed it and I won the appeal because I was freaking right.
Yeah.
Alex Bernstein on Twitter got banned. He's a New York Times editor. He went independent, started doing his own thing. He covered all the data points on COVID and the vaccine on Twitter. He got suspended from Twitter permanently. Well, he was one of the people I was getting all my information from, posting it, Mm-hmm. Just, I think, a month ago, he won his legal lawsuit, and he's back on Twitter for all of his posts being correct. So that's all I'm saying. But see, there's no repercussions from them taking my stuff down, taking your YouTube down, or whatever. But if you have the money, you can fight it. But I don't have the money to fight YouTube, so I'm like, dude, I'm just like, whatever, you know.
What do you think about all the shadow banning and stuff? Like, would you say like
it's out of pocket? Now people are gonna argue, they're gonna be like, it's a private blah. You got to go by their rules. So what can you do? Like, you know, I don't. This is what I think. I think technology has changed and evolved, and I believe social media is the public square. And when you're talking about the Constitution and freedom of speech, we're talking about the public square. And I think that, we should treat social media like that. But again, I don't own these platforms. So, people are going to clown, well, you're a dumbass. You don't know. It's a private platform. But I just laugh because all these people saying this, these people have gotten caught in lawsuits or illegally data mining all your data to study your behaviors to sell you shit. And that's what they're doing right now. But in the future, they're going to study your behaviors to monitor how you're going to react to the next whatever comes down the pipeline for them. That's just what they do. Data is the new oil and gold. So they're making money. So they're telling, it's a private company. They're all good. But they're stealing your shit that has value in digital world. Like, it's literally, they're just taking your shit and studying you. And so they're studying your behaviors and they're manipulating you to sell you shit right now. But it's just going to continue. Like, that's just what it is. So I just think it's interesting because they're not allowed to do this shit, you know? And then when they do, they get caught. Then they send you, you get the Facebook shit you have to sign and Snapchat. We've re-updated our blah, blah, blah.
Our terms and shit.
Our terms of da-da-da-da. So.
What about, speaking of mandates, what about, like, men fucking setting dates to turn into women?
What?
I mean, so, I know what he's saying, with all the trans stuff. I just, like, do what you do. I don't give a fuck. But what happens is when you try to change language, we start having a different conversation, because what happens is there's an element that I believe that they're trying to confuse people, right? Now, I don't care when people transition, how old, whatever, do you. But when we can't call a man or a female, and they create a gray area. I have a daughter, so I'm going to speak up very, and I try to bring entertainment when I'm online. But like, I'm going to keep it real, dude. I don't want my daughter in a bathroom with a dude who has his D in balls. Straight up.
What if your daughter grows up and she's like, Dad, I'm trans?
Cool, we'll have that conversation. But she's not doing anything in my household until she's 18 and an adult and can make her own decisions. You're in my house. This is what it is. And cool, if you want me to call you they, her, he, whatever. Actually, I'll just call her by her name. But I'm just like, look, I'm pretty open, but I also think the chances of that happening become less likely when you're around certain things, because environment helps create you. Like, we've all been created by our environment. Well, she's in a traditional home with her mom, with her dad, and my wife's going to homeschool. So it's hard to have these other things. And it's not like I'm open to it. Like, we're going to be down in Denver on Colfax. She's going to see a trans person. She's going to see someone, a drag queen. If she has a question, I'll answer it. Like, hey, she's like, whatever. That's just what it is. Hey, this dude likes to wear dresses and put on makeup. This person thinks they are born in a certain type of body. Cool. It is what it is. But when we get to the technical details, and you go into the hospital and they're like, we have a woman here, and you see a D in balls, it's like, bruh, like we have a woman on this table. We need to operate, gunshot wound. That's a man. It's like, she has ovaries. You got to get this bullet close to the ovaries. You thinking there's no ovaries because, oh, it's a man. Like, we have to, like, you can't just skew the lines when it comes to biology. Like, so if you want to live in fantasy land or whatever, cool. If these people really believe that's what they are, cool. I'm okay. But the realness is that an let's just keep it real. The Leah Thomas just got nominated for NCAA competitor or female whatever of the year, but still has male anatomy. Well, still has male anatomy. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
So my daughter could be the NCAA champ, but you telling me smash the patriarchy? For those who don't know, the male-driven society, smash the patriarchy, but we gonna put the patriarchy on the podium because they think, look, man, there's biology for a reason. That's all I'm here to say. You know what I'm saying? I try to open, sometimes the way I open the can of worms might get people like, what the F? You're this. But I'm just keeping it a buck. You know what I'm saying? And so, and I never was this way. I'm this way because I have a child. So as a man, you start changing, like your testosterone changes. So like chasing the women for me changed. You know what I'm saying? Course. But having a child, I'm a different person, bro. Like, I'm totally different. And that's why I get worried about the next generation, because I see a lot of the youth, because I'm in the industry I'm in, I put on a lot of young guys, and they're falling for the indoctrination. This is all just indoctrination. Some people will call it communist subversion, but this is where we're at. They want to so the part of communist subversion is demoralizing a population. It takes about, I think, 20 years. And demoralization is when you burn our country. I hate being here. It's so racist. It's this demoralizing where you can't even believe, when you think that the red, white, and blue is the sign of the KKK. That's when you know that your country has been demoralized so bad, and it's a process in what they call communist subversion. So, the youngsters got to wake up to this. Like, if they don't wake up, we're going to lose something beautiful. And this is from someone who's traveled the world to see that people don't understand. What makes America different is when you go to other countries, there's only rich, there's only poor. Yeah. For the most part. Not but for the most part, there's rich, there's poor. America has a middle class. This is the buffering that makes us the land of opportunity, because the middle class just thrive. It's like this thing people don't even understand. People don't understand how much freedom, individual liberties, and all these different things, but this buffering system we have because of the middle class. Like, I always make simple analogies. Like, bro, you can't drink water in Mexico. You can drink toilet water in Colorado. This is wild. Now, Detroit, they're having issues with water. Here, they have issue with water. But for the most part, in America, you can drink toilet water and survive. You can't shit in Colombia and put toilet paper in the toilet. It has to go in the little trash next to the toilet.
That's my bathroom, too.
There you
this
go.
Dude has a
he
Colombian.
just debunked me, yo.
Yeah.
Boom. But I'm just saying, we have these things that people don't even realize, and they want to burn this society to the ground instead of looking at what is so good about our society and building off it. And that's the problem with our youth. When I see, youngsters so caught up in these movements where they'll light a frickin' American flag on fire and act like they're smoking it on 4th of July, I'm like, bro, you're lost. You're lost.
Damn, was that a thing this 4th of July?
I just seen stuff like that. And maybe that's the ultra woke people, But I'm just saying, I see stuff like that, and that's dangerous. That's very dangerous for our culture, because people don't realize, like, they're trying to put the LGBTQ flag up, like that represents all people. And if you really, all men are created equal. Yeah, maybe we didn't start this way in America, but this is what America's supposed to represent. The American flag is supposed to represent all of us, the LGBTQ, all of us.
Everybody,
you know,
in
but
America.
people are rocking this LGBTQ flag like that's the new American flag. And people just got to wake up and know that's what's going on.
I don't know if I'd go that far. I don't think people are rocking the LGBTQ flag like it's
I'm saying, well, people might not be rocking it, but this is what they want. This is because just remember this: the rainbow flag 3 years ago was the rainbow flag. They added the black and brown to it. Why? Because they're just trying to include everyone. This flag doesn't include you. You just have to see these little signals. They do it step by step. Hence the whole concept of communist subversion. It's to demoralize us and not believe in traditional things that can be helpful to us. I just tell people, if it serves you, cool. But if it doesn't serve you, you need to just look behind the curtains. That's all I'm saying.
So I got to ask you this then. Where do you see America in about 10 years?
I don't know. It depends. This is why I'm so vocal. I really believe we're at a pivotal point, and it's going to go in one of two directions. One very, very bad, or one we can start being good, and it's going to be radical either way. Either way, the good is going to come from this radical, like, yo, like, I love America, da-da-da-da, which it's going to be radical for some, or it's going to be radical like, yo, burn the whole place down.
Burn it down.
So it's just I don't see a real middle ground unless they do what is it called? The succession, where it's like Texas, Florida, it's its own thing, and Cali and New York is its own thing, like a national divorce, which is interesting because as a world traveler, I realized that being in Europe. If you just take Europe and look at it like America, I just tripped out because like France, Italy, Poland, they'd be different states, but we're United States. That's what makes us kind of lit, and we're the only multicultural pot. Canada's close, Europe has a little bit, but bro, I could go on for days. You guys got to stop me.
No, bro, I like this. I like this.
I have one question, Ricky. Can you see how long we've been going for? Because eventually we gotta get into the show.
Yeah, sure. And make sure it's still recording.
Yep, still good.
How long is it? Where are we at?
1 hour.
Oh, hey.
Nice.
1 hour. We're
cool. Right on.
Cherry. We're only 1 hour in, bro.
But like, if we started even talking about the race relations, people be tripping because like, I am looked at as black, right? But ever since all the racial stuff, if you say certain things, all of a sudden people act like, oh, you're less black or whatever. But I've always been treated black. I've always, that is, my culture. But the one thing that I've realized that's very dangerous is these people are trying to sell us that America is so racist. And I'm like, bro, like Japan is dope, but they will not go outside of their culture. They ain't dating other people. China is mad racist, bro. Go to France and see what they do to Africans.
I bet
bro, I'm like, bro. And so what I ask black people, I'm like, tell me where Wakanda is. Because Africa is racist. Bro, America literally is pockets of Wakanda, and you're boo-booing on it because you don't understand the way the whole world works. Now, am I saying we can't do better? But the other thing is, I think we also get gaslit because sometimes racism, things that people will say racism also just comes to the human nature of humans just be not liking different things or just being assholes. Some humans are just hateful assholes. It might not even be race. He might just be like, yo, I hate blah, blah, blah,
There's some hateful motherfuckers out there, man.
I'm like,
it's
look,
crazy.
There's racism here. There is systematic things that I do think we still need to work on, but not at the level where people are selling it to us. And I'm at the point where I'm calling everything a plandemic because I'm like, all this is planned to keep us separated because all the people that I know who are successful in life, white, black, Asian, whatever, they just have that mentality like, I don't care. I'm just going to keep going. You could be the dark. Like, think about this, right? We'll have, I'll have like a black brother who's like, yo, stuck on the whole like racism, stuck in a certain place, right? But then I'll have like this homie who's like an immigrant, a Nigerian, pitch black, and he just starts taxi cab. Then he's doing this, then he's doing that. Then all of a sudden so I also think it's about culture, and I don't want to downplay racial issues or racism that happens because when it happens, like you got to also remember America, like for example, Brazil. Like they had a very similar slave trade in a sense, like where slavery was running rampant, but you didn't see like this like lynching of black people the way we saw in America, right? So for some reason, this racism whatever that happened in America happened at such a dynamic way. It's like, yo, you have like, we've seen the pictures of white people just at lynchings. Like, this is not like, this is the horrible part of our history. And what does that ripple effect have? But when you talk to people now, it does take time, you know, to heal wounds and stuff like that. But we are actually, I felt like in the 90s and early 2000s, we're at like a place where we're starting to just like really get the momentum of like, yo, we're a multicultural pot. Now, I could talk about this forever because there's little drips. Like, right, how did people treat Muslims after 9/11?
Right.
Effed up.
Yeah.
How did people treat Chinese people after the pandemic? So but as humans, we kind of are jackasses at times, and we just got to work on that.
We're super selfish creatures.
But there's no country like us, so we're gonna have to work through it. I'm just saying, for my people of color, don't let these thoughts disservice you. Because some people are not going to be successful because they're going to be like, oh, well, they're trying to hold me down. Who gives a fuck? Bro, do you know how hard it is to make it in the industry I'm in?
Hard as fuck.
I'm a light-skinned dude in Colorado talking about pandemics. We're in a more liberal-leaning state. People ain't trying to hear that. They don't want my concerts to succeed. But I wake up. I put one shoe on at a time. Let's get it. We've got to figure it out. They don't want, like, dude, I've been shadow banned my whole time on YouTube. I'm just coming out of that pocket right now, bro.
Damn.
Because I started doing, like, hip-hop reactions.
Did you kind of notice that, too?
Yeah.
Like, as you were kind of going through?
Like, yeah, after you get a strike, no one's on my live streams. And you just have to rebuild it. So, anyways, I'm just saying there's a lot of things put out in the mass media, and it doesn't serve you. Try to gravitate to things that are going to make you stronger, right? Knowing about racism makes me knowledgeable, and that's good. But letting racism be an emotional trigger to cripple me, no. I can't let that evolve in my mind. Regardless of how horrible it is, it's not going to serve me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I have to be strong, and if I get to a point where I have to fight it head on, let's go. You know what I'm saying? But you can't let these they're trying to cripple people. You know, like, think about this too. You know, they sold the black vote. Yo, go vote for Biden. Trump is a racist, right? And then a lot of the black folks like, we want reparations, and they're just sending massive money to Ukraine. They're putting massive spending bills. Like, there's so much stuff going in the spending bills, and then it's like, I believe in America,
Did you vote for Trump?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, absolutely. So, and it wasn't because I'm a Trumper. I'm not a Trumper. I'm not MAGA, Trump 2020. I was like, look. When I went into the elections, Biden told you he was going to mandate stuff. He said he was going to lock us down. I was anti-lockdown. I was pro-economy.
From the jump.
So I had to go with policy. Now, as I do, I was glad. Now I'm glad I voted for Trump, though. Because stuff I was sold, I was sold that he was this racist. He's done bad stuff. He has done bad stuff, but they sold us. They told the black people not to vote for him because he was a racist. And I went down the route. I'm like, bro, Joe Biden's mentor is Strom Thurmond. You can go online and see Strom Thurmond being like, what did he say? He was like, we will not let the race integrate with our kids in school. Oh my God. This is his mentor, and it's all online for you to see. When can you connect freaking Donald Trump? If they could connect Donald Trump with the N-word, don't you think it would have been done by now? And when they say, oh, he's a white supremacist, how? He paraded with a black girlfriend. You remember he dated a black woman?
No.
Dude, he has a black girlfriend who was a dime. Fine as hell, looked like Aaliyah. Fine, bro. He has just good taste. And so, look, there's something that comes with, like, maybe he might have a perception, but you got to remember, he was in Atlantic City doing boxing. How much money did he put in black and Latinos' pockets in the boxing industry? And Judge Joe Brown said he helped fund part of Jesse Jackson's campaign to run for president when Jesse Jackson ran for president.
Yeah, I think just they labeled him that racist because they were saying a bunch of other bullshit. It was easy. Yeah.
And so, anyways, I'm not going to go. I'm not this whole Trumper guy. Like, I know what's real, and I'm just like, dude, I'm not voting for Biden. Biden couldn't even talk.
He still can't. He's reading off
literally
teleprompter
everything you're saying. I'm like, this guy's got a point.
Just saying.
This guy knows his shit.
And that's why I came down here to talk to you guys too, because I don't talk to your generation. A lot of the people in my demographic are like 30 to 40 now, and I'm like, bro, the young are the ones who need to wake up. Y'all the ones who need to see it. And the Nelk boys are starting to do that, but they're so prank
Yeah, I was gonna say
they don't really know.
boys.
They can't like have this conversation. But they just brought on Andrew Tate, and as much as people hate him, he will bring up great points, and he went crazy on their recent
Goes
interview.
insane.
So I'm just like, look,
What
man,
do you think of Andrew Tate and his?
I F with him. I F with him for the most part. I don't agree with everything. I don't agree with everything with everyone. Like, I'm one of the people, I like Candace Owens, but she's wilding with some stuff. Straight up. Like, I'm like, bro, you're
I feel like
tripping.
that's humans too.
Yeah.
Like we all have like there's some similar stuff that we agree with, and then there's some like, yo, this person is fucking tripping. Like,
And to keep it real,
human nature.
I'm building my stance. I'm still learning because, like, I've always been left leaning, always. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always been on the left side of things when it comes to politics. The pandemic's what made me go crazy to the right, and now I'm kind of coming back to the middle because I went so far right because I was so mad that these people told me I was non-essential. They took away all my money to feed my family, and then they said I had to get an injection to not even be able to do my job. So people don't understand why I'm so radical about it, bro. Like, in the height of this, I threw concerts and tour for a living, and that was just gone. And they're like, oh, well, you can get a stimulus, da-da-da-da. But the way the thing worked out for me, I wasn't getting what everyone was getting. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm like, dude, I got to feed my family. So, like, because I threw concerts during the pandemic, and everyone locally came after me. I'm the evil guy. And what happened? How many people died because of my show?
None.
I mean, we don't know.
Well, guess what? If as many people could have, they could have at the Christmas rush at Walmart. Because my shows were never as big as the Christmas rush at Walmart. Or, you know, King Supers. When people, oh, we're out of toilet paper. And there's thousands of people in the store. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Did you buy a lot of toilet paper when that happened?
No, I'm a prepper, so I always kind of have a little more than I need. Like, I'm one of the people, I have rations in my house and, like, water filters and stuff like that. So
My dude has a 50-pound bag of beans in the basement
You do?
waiting.
yeah, I have a huge bag of rice. I
Rice and beans,
and
bro.
I have this. I actually ordered it from a company, but it's like 6 months of rations. This is my thing. Look, I've been through a blizzard here where you couldn't go get food, so why not have food just in case shit happens? It doesn't.
I think that's a smarter way
There's
to.
a nuclear winter. It's just like, bro. Like, I remember one of my buddies was in Florida. Hurricane started to form or whatever. Everyone bought the water. He was out there in a hotel. He went to get water. There was no water at any stores. So, you know, just be prepared.
Yeah, right.
Why not be prepared?
Why not have
Look
that
at what
shit?
happened to Texas when the deep freeze. I bet you people wish they had a fireplace with some wood,
Right. They were cold. Fuck.
a generator
No
with a space
electricity.
heater.
Yeah, they probably don't put a lot of fireplaces in Texas.
Yeah, but you just don't know. So it's like, hey, you know, having a generator, having, you know, a place to clean water, you know, having some clean water, having some food. Like, think about this, right? We all focus on money, right? You can't, dude, shit hits the fan, you need water. You can live off water for like 18 days. But just think about, you can go to Costco and buy a thing of 40 waters for $2. But we out here, just people don't realize, like, until it's on the line, because we're so entitled and privileged in America because we have so much wealth, people don't realize what is important and what isn't important.
Damn, you scare me, bro. I'm like, I gotta go get a bunch of shit now. I gotta go get
I'm
a bunch
just
of water.
saying, like, have you guys looked at
Facts,
the Great
bro.
Depression? Like, I forget the reasoning behind, but there was a moment where everyone took all their money out the bank, and then all the money ran out, and then everyone who went to get the money late couldn't get their money.
Couldn't get it.
And they were just shit out of luck. This happened in the 1920s.
Not that long ago.
So it's just
100
like,
years
bro, and
ago.
look at all the weird shit with money going on right now. It's like, I'm like, dude, just, you know, just look, as men and as a man with a child, I have to be prepared to try to, you know, my lifeline needs to live on. That's what I'm here for. So, you know, I just have to try to be there to make sure that happens. And I can only do so much, but I'm going to do what I can. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, yeah. As a trans person, best I could do is leech off someone else.
What?
Just kidding. But all right. So speaking of money, how's the money in the Colorado music industry? Is it a dying market or is it a growing market?
Well, I'd always say it's growing because it never blew up, so it couldn't die. Because it's like
I like that.
Let's say when I started, it was in its infancy, so let's maybe say it's a toddler. And, you know, for people who've blown up, like Flowbots or 303, you know, it's a teenager. But I can't say anything's dying that hasn't got to its full potential yet. Like maybe let's say in Texas when they had their bubble and blew up with Mike Jones and Paul Wall, maybe you could be like, well, let's go look at the numbers and figure out where they're at. But where we're at, we never had that. We never had a, you know, we've never had a superstar rapper, you know. I also believe it's because it's not an urban market. And so they're waiting for like an alternative, like a Atmosphere or Tech 9 type of thing. That's what would put this market on the map more so than some real urban, or like it just doesn't make sense that urban music, you see all these like gangster rappers, but it doesn't really fit a suburban market. Denver has its rough spots, and there's some people who've got millions of views from hood stuff on YouTube.
FPP.
But yeah, there you go.
What do you think about FPP?
I think honestly, I give a shout out to anyone doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I typically listen to boom bap hip hop, old like Jedi Mind Tricks. That's what I love and like. And I listen to like what is it, 60s doo-wop. I listen to Supremes, Sam Cooke, who's it? Big Girls Don't Cry. Like I've been playing that for my daughter when she wants to cry at swimming.
So you're all over the place.
So yeah, but I don't really listen to new stuff that much unless people are like, yo, check this out, and then I can evaluate it because I've listened to enough new stuff to be like, yo, this is hot or this is not. But like most of the young cats that pop in Colorado are hot. Like they have a hot sound. You know what I'm saying? So you know, even if it's not my cup of tea, I can sit back and be like, yo, this is fire, or this is a hit. Like if you played a joint for me, I'd be like, yo, this is a hit. This could be on urban radio. This could be on rhythmic radio. Nah, this is a YouTube hit. Like I know music in my demographic. You know what I'm saying?
Are you familiar with FPP?
Yeah, I think so. They're from Denver, right?
Yeah, like Mo, X, West, and I think there's some other ones.
They're Latin kids, right?
Yeah, they just got indicted for racketeering, I think.
I think I know who you're talking about. I think I went down the rabbit hole. So when you said it, I was just like, oh yeah, they're the Latin kids from Denver. They rap about like hood stuff, super hood. And I just remember them like Mad Guns in the video or something. Like they had like their homies kind of at a park is one of the videos I've seen a couple videos from them. I was like, oh damn, because I think Hypnotic told me about them. He's like, yo, these dudes are popping. I was like, cool, dope. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, are they good? Not as musically. Are they in jail right now?
Well, yeah, I think most of them are in jail. Like FPP Mo, I know he's in jail.
Damn,
I think X is free.
Okay.
West, I think might be free. I don't know.
Okay.
But
yeah, and this goes back to culture. One of the things that I think is disturbing. I posted a picture of Ludacris graduating. All these people were giving me shit. They were like, bro, that's not even a real degree, like going crazy. But then I'm like, I get on the same website, XXL, on Facebook, start reading every other week. Young black entrepreneur, dead, shot, jail. And I'm like, yo, so you guys are giving all this love to things that aren't serving you, but things that could serve you. I'm like, yo, there's just a misconception of things. And shout out to the brothers in Denver. I'm not knocking them because this is the thing. We all are a product of our environment, and we have to grow from everything we experience. And I think they're going through a growing phase. Like these dudes are really in the streets doing street shit. If anyone's certified to rap about it, that's them.
That's them.
So but I'm also talking about the public perception. I would uplift them for making it out the hood in those environments. But we also need to uplift, like how many black scientists or lawyers or doctors do you know of from Colorado?
Exactly.
Well, there are some. Yeah. But why aren't we giving them the same type of love? See, we will uplift certain things, and I just think, I'm like, bro, you know there's a dope Latin lawyer in the somewhere out here, a dope Latin doctor. I can't even say his name because I don't know. Yeah. But I'm like, I see this stuff, and I'm like, I start tripping out because I'm like, yo, like, we embellish and glorify certain things, and I'm not knocking those things because I actually really respect the street culture from a lot of the things I've seen. But we also, as a culture, need to start uplifting the good dads. Bro, facts. I bet you those dudes rapping are probably good dads. Some of them have a kid and they love their kid. And so let's just uplift and glorify parts of the culture that we're not anymore and that need to be, because having this nuclear family is what's going to help save society. This is why we see so much degenerative nature, because we're taking so many components out of the family structure. And when the kids are left to their own devices, kids need guidance, period. So that's just what it is, you know. But, you know, I hope those dudes, all of them get out. I hope they make it in music. I hope, because, like, and the reason I say that, what just happened to Slim Thug? I'm like, bro, the top of the top. And you're just like, boom. locked up. It's like, why? Like, bro,
I don't know what happened to Slim Thug.
Oh, you don't?
No.
He's in a RICO case, bro, which is like one of the worst drug type of cases. They're trying to pin. So I don't know exact, but he's probably affiliated with all these people doing certain things. Maybe he called a couple shots, and they're trying to get everything on him because he's the front man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like they take down the head and then get everyone with it, and it's just
Like Young Thug.
Like Young Thug and YSL.
Yeah. So YSL, there's I think Gunna from his crew. I don't know their crew. Like, I'm just going off of what I see on XXL, and I'm like, dude, this is wild because I've been to like Hawaii, and my mind is like, yo, like if I was a rapper, I would have bought a mansion in Hawaii, built a studio, and I would just get away from all the hood stuff. But a lot of hood cats will tell you, like, that's what gives them. That's how you hear the realness in their records. That's how you can feel because they're in it. So I understand that too. Art imitates life. Life imitates art. So look, man, whatever happens to the brothers in Denver, it will come out in their art, and I think it can come out beautiful, but I just don't want to see any more. I don't want to see any race. I was about to say black and brown people dead or in jail because of the culture lifestyles. I just, but anyone, because, there's white kids gang banging, there's all types of stuff, but,
Everything.
it's just interesting. These are things I see with the culture that I'm like, it's kind of wild. It's funny. You see Cardi B, right? Wop, 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 where the ABBA? And she's like, I won't let my daughter hear any of this music. Bruh, what is that telling you guys? What is that telling you?
Well, I mean, it's probably because it's inappropriate for a child to hear a wet-ass pussy.
But how many children are listening to wet-ass pussy on TikTok?
Oh, word, that's true, I guess. I don't have kids, so I don't even think about that.
So this is what I'm saying, man. It's like, and these barriers to entry, you might be able to protect your kid from it, but it's always their friends who bring the shit in the household because their parents are on some other. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
totally.
That's where it all comes from. I'm not gonna lie.
It's crazy. So anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Fucking, we've probably been going for about an hour.
I'll check again. I'll check again.
I know you want to get something to eat before the show.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm down to just go into the show. We have a flow going, so if you guys are ready just to go on the show.
Oh no, more people are going to show up.
Okay, cool. Then we can. Then I will. Maybe I'll hit like Chipotle or something.
Yeah.
Before we go out, though, I wanted to touch on concerts a little more.
Sure.
Like, because you've been kind of doing it forever.
Yep.
I mean, you were literally my first promoter.
Yep.
I remember seeing you for the first time before I even made music on Team Backpacks Cypher. So shout out to them for them showing me you or whatever, But so you've been in it for a long time, and how long have you been putting concerts out?
I've been throwing shows right around 2010.
2010.
Yep. All by accident.
Let's go off like some names that you've actually thrown out here, because I'm sure there's some people that don't even know. Like let's get some big names you've thrown out here, like Chris Webby, Ritz.
We've done was Tech Nine, Snow the Product, that's coming up in August.
Get your tickets.
I've done Ritz. I've done T-Pain. I've done what's that dude's name?
I got T-Pain.
What the Kid Ink.
You got Kid Ink too.
And so those are some of the bigger ones that we've done.
Wow.
And then all of the independent underground stuff you could think of. I mean, dude.
You've had a lot of shows,
stuff,
bro.
Like, like Wi-Fi's Funeral, OG Mako, Fora. There's just been a lot. And that's not even me being an artist. Like I've opened for T.I., 50 Cent, Wu-Tang Clan. So like it's an array. It's an array of different things. You know what I'm saying? So, but bringing shows, we're starting to move to the upper echelon. I'm gonna tell you guys this because it's not gonna happen. But we just put in an offer for Ludacris. We were gonna bring Ludacris to Sky Sox in October. That was our goal. But
that would have been crazy.
It's not gonna work out. But yeah, we want to take it to the next level for sure.
Keep poking at that too, because like.
The economy makes it. We're totally independent. We don't even really have sponsors like that. So we have one sponsor. So we got to kind of elevate our game as business people. We've kind of had a niche. We have a formula that works, and we've been able to kind of cut through a lot of nonsense.
I dig it, and I enjoy getting on your shows.
Sure.
I'm sure a lot of these other upcoming artists are happy to get on your show. So that's one thing I wanted to shout out to. If you're an upcoming artist, be sure to add this man on Facebook, Black Pegasus.
Yep.
Message him, and see all these shows that he's put it on. Don't forget to get your tickets for this Tech Nine Snow the Product show. How did that kind of come into? I know you've
so we brought Tech last year, and we locked Tech in. We locked Tech in, and we had it. We knew we were going to bring Tech for sure. And me and my partner wanted to add Snow to the show, so we got a hold of the agent and ended up making it happen. So I'm very excited about that one. It's probably going to sell out.
Now with big shows like this, when you bring them out and stuff, like how does it work? Like is there, because I'm sure there's plenty of people that don't really know how it works. Was that a knock?
I think that was a knock.
Okay, we'll take
Those go down. Something
yeah.
about that.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
But if you do it, I need to, like, what do you mean by that?
Okay, so
how do
like
they go down, Mike?
So like bringing out bigger artists and like like national artists like a Tech Nine and adding on a Snow to the product. Like what's the process of having to hit them up, bring them out, and essentially put on the show? Like you're the promoter. You're hitting up their agent. Like
the way this works, right? I work, so I'm BKG Promotions, which is promoting, marketing, and it's kind of my brand. But I work inside of Strong Survive Presents. That's me and my buddy Travis and then his staff. But me and Travis are partners. So we have different positions. So essentially, me and Travis have conversations of what we want to do concert-wise, right? Mm-hmm. Then Travis is what you call a talent buyer. So he's going to reach out to the agent and handle all the negotiations, get a hold of the agent, find the agent, da-da-da. So like a lot of times I'll be in the backdrop, like, hey, we should work on this, or he'll bring something, you know, but a lot of times I'll be like, yo, we should book this. And sometimes he'll be like, we should book this. But then he'll contact them. Then he comes back to me like, what do you think we should put in as an offer? Now, an offer is what you're going to offer them to perform.
Money.
And so it just depends, like, do they have tour history? Have we worked with them before? What do they look like in other markets? We decide what we want to offer them based off other things that we've been doing, and then we put in an offer. But again, my position is like, kind of like, I don't even know what the word is, but we have these conversations together. Then him as the talent buyer puts in the offer with the agent,
and they accept it.
And so it's called a formal offer. So he prints up a formal offer. It looks a certain way, sends it. They approve or they don't. Normally they're like, hey, can we get this? Can we get that? A part of the offer, there's like, sometimes there's a guarantee. Well, most of the time there's a guarantee, right? But is there a back end split, meaning you hit a certain number, the artist gets extra money, buyouts, because it's easier to just pay them to get their own hotels and stuff, or do we have to get the hotels? So all these things go into negotiations, and then once you get it all negotiated, they ask for a deposit. Depending on your relationship, depends on how much of a deposit you send. Once the deposit's sent, they typically send you some type of artwork. You finagle the artwork for your market, and then you announce the concert and put tickets on sale.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, kind of like how I envisioned it, really. Has there ever been like have you ever had to deal with some extra bouginess from artists? Like maybe it doesn't go through that process. Like maybe you have to, I don't know, there's certain things, you know what I mean? Yeah. You always hear these stories of like, this artist needs this flavor of Gatorade, and if you don't have this flavor of Gatorade and a pound of weed, then, you know what I mean? Like, is there ever bullshit like that?
We've never dealt with stuff like that, because also, like, a lot of times when you're making money, I'm just hospitable. So if they're like, yo, we need some Patron or whatever, and I'm like, oh, we're making money, I'm like, yo, I got you, like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? The weirdest stuff is dealing with artists that are on some, so I'm gonna drop a name.
Yeah.
Little Xan, right? We book his tour, right? And this asshole just cancels his whole tour. He has other people on the tour that are affected by it, and it's like, we have tickets on sale, tickets in the streets, blah blah blah. And he's just on some, like, he says, oh, even forgot the excuse he said, but it's all nonsense.
Some
and
bullshit.
You can kind of just track down his career, like, he just makes excuses. So this is someone where you can give an example of just like, yo, like, we've had everything in place, deposits out, everything, and this mother effer we just canceled the whole show. Had to like, dude, and it's mad headache, because when you have tickets in the streets, that's the headache, because online you just hit a button, refund. God. Everyone gets their money back. But all the tickets in the street, so you're like, yo, and then you don't know if these people, like, if let's say you're dealing with an artist who's low up on cash and they decide not to give people their money back, then now I'm looking bad as the promoter, because they're like, well, I bought this ticket and they said it canceled, and I got to get the money back from you. So it's just BS that you have to deal with, because, you know, people are irresponsible, inconsiderate, and unreliable. And like, for Lil Xan's a name. Then there's another artist I won't name because he's kind of big. But for example, we booked him.
Tyga.
But we booked him, and everything, you know, in the agreement was, yo, you're going to do a certain amount of posts on social media, and we didn't get those. But in reality, what happened is, because we didn't get those posts, his management did a reduction for us, so it all ended up working out. Okay. But it's still like, that's just BS. We could have had a crazy cracking show. You showed up.
It's like shooting yourself in the foot.
But some of these artists, man, you got to remember, they live in a fantasy world. They don't have to live in the real world. Women come to them at a rate that's just not. It's just everything. It's just not. I've lived in that world to a degree. Just I wasn't rich like when I was like, you know. But when you have a certain amount of celebrity, things happen to you that don't happen to other people. So you start to just live in this different world, and that's just what it is.
Have you ever gotten hit by a stupid high price?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you want to touch on that at all? Like, are you down to say like who it was, or I don't know? I just like I'm always curious on that type of shit.
Because politically, you don't know if we're going to book these people in the future.
So then, better to leave it unsaid.
You look at a price, and maybe it's not stupid high. Maybe they're worth that, but in your market, you can't facilitate that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it'd be a little reckless for me to start saying prices on here.
Of course. It was a dumb question.
Honestly, absolutely. There have been times where, you know, let's say there's like a
DJ Vlad.
Right, exactly.
Oh my God.
But yeah, there have been times where we saw like someone wanted 350K, and we thought it'd be more like a 150 or 200K type of, you know, thing, and it was just like, okay, you know.
Damn. So like the 150K,
those are like big artists. Those are like,
crazy.
We're doing an outdoor event. We're trying to do like stadium type shit, like Sky Sox Stadium or the old
like a Luda or a that's.
And that wasn't
big shit.
That wasn't a Luda joint. That was actually something we tried to do last summer. We even considered bringing it to Pueblo, but I'm not going to say the name,
of course,
because it was just someone like, you know, he is super popping. But at that time, there's
a lot of money.
Well, no, not even that. There were some things going on in the space where he wasn't as popular. So it was like, as in a promoter, you have to kind of hedge your risk, and you're just like, okay, cool, you know. And then we ended up booking something different. So
word. Yes.
I see you. I like it.
All right. Black Pegasus, thanks so much for coming on, bro.
Let's get it.
Fucking coming to the show. They're going 2 separate videos, so this is the end of this. Do you want to shout yourself out for the people to where they can find you and check you out?
I go by the name Black Pegasus. You guys can find me. The best places is Instagram and Facebook at Black Pegasus Raps. That's RAPS. But check out my YouTube channel. It's starting to blow up. I think it's Pegasus Black. So youtube.com/Pegasus Black. We do a lot of podcasting, reactions, and street interviews. So check me out.
Let's go. Don't forget to get your guys' tickets for the upcoming concerts, too. Just check out the man's social media and stuff. Yeah. And then you guys know who I am. My name's Rick G. Hit that link below. Check out all the new music I'm going to be dropping. Check out Sport Champs. We just released a new episode of that, so it's out everywhere. Be sure to check that out. Hit the links below, y'all.
Bow. And it's been
Easy.
Street Champs. We got a live show. First one coming up October 29th. Flyer's not out yet, but yeah.
He's announcing it.
Live podcast. Check it out.
Woo!
Like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that shit. All right. Peace.